I'm gonna let you guys in on a little secret. I am embarrassed. My pride is wounded because I let myself be fooled by a certain other DreamWorks property. I spent like a year of my life like, oh well, Rab, yes, the last few seasons didn't vibe with you, but Voltron will get back on track once the clone plot's over. You'll see, it'll be fine.
Disappointed!
So, after that train wreck, I swore I'd never let myself be duped by a cartoon again. Lofty goal, I know, but hey, doesn't hurt to try. Next time I felt that something was wrong, I'd trust my gut. And for that reason, I'm worried about She-Ra.
Hey, that's the name of the video!
Now, I say all this with love. I love She-Ra. It's a delight. In this house, we stand Scorpia. But I've noticed that She-Ra has started to teeter on the edge of one of Voltron's bigger problems. I've talked about this already with my latest Voltron vid, so I'll try to be quick. Voltron wanted to explore big real-world problems like the horrors of war, and the fact that sometimes the people you love die for no reason. And the creative team's kid show restrictions killed any chance they had of committing to those points and exploring them with any real depth. To be clear here, the execs aren't really to blame for this. They wanted a light-hearted boy toy action show with lots of gags. The creators were aware of the restrictions set upon them as a kid show, as well as the demands of the execs, and they still made the decision to pursue a gritty war story. The resulting tug of war between the execs and the creators came through to the final product, and the show became a confused mess, unable to commit to either creative vision. Look, kid shows are different now. There are less restrictions on what topics are off limits, but those topics can be very difficult to portray for a younger audience. Like, as a storyteller, you might be allowed to portray something like, I don't know, PTSD, but how do you make that topic understandable to a younger demographic without simplifying it so much as to detract from the seriousness of it, or invalidate the people who struggle with it? That's a conundrum I'm dealing with in my own writing.
We're all gonna die!
PTSD and other mental illnesses are not something you can conquer in the same way you'd conquer a mustache-twirling villain. They're a part of you, so you don't want to villainize them too much, and they're something you handle a day at a time. To address that topic with respect, you need ambiguity. But when you write for kids, ambiguity doesn't always get the green light. Like, don't get me wrong, I love children's show rules. I love when the power of friendship can solve any problem. I love when, at least most of the time, I can put on a show and know that everyone will end up happy together. But those rules do mean you as a storyteller are sometimes limited in how you resolve complex problems. You might be able to portray a heavy topic, but you might also face restrictions on how truthful you can get about its darker aspects, and you'll probably still be expected to solve the problem of that topic with love and friendship, damn it! Things can go wrong, is what I'm saying. Which is why it's crucial to ask yourself, can I treat this topic with respect, given the restrictions placed upon me by my superiors, before you tackle something heavy like, let's say, abuse, as like a main theme of your story. I'm worried about She-Ra because, for the most part, I love how they portray abuse. In my opinion, they've managed to simplify a very complex, difficult topic without disrespecting it. So far. Here's how She-Ra has portrayed abuse up till this point. As a chain, Hordak does everything he can to earn Horde Prime's approval. When Horde Prime won't be swayed, he takes out his frustration on Shadow Weaver. Shadow Weaver does everything she can to earn Hordak's approval. When Hordak won't be swayed, she takes out her frustration on Catra. Catra does everything she can to earn Shadow Weaver's approval. When Shadow Weaver won't be swayed, she takes out her frustration on Adora, and when Adora is not available, Scorpia. The only way to break this chain of abuse, as posited by the narrative, is to find a magical sword and accept your destiny as No, it's to leave. To find friendships where you're valued instead of constantly chasing the approval of people who have decided not to change. This show says, screw destiny, I'm gonna break the chain. I'm not gonna be who you want me to be, and I'm not gonna carry on your pattern of destruction. Again and again, She-Ra tells us that the only force stronger than fate is friendship, and that friendship can't be forced. I love that She-Ra shows us that no matter how kind you are to someone, no matter how much of yourself you give to them, no matter how many times you offer them an out, you cannot make someone change. You cannot make someone become a good friend. They have to make that choice for themselves. Adora tries over and over to get Catra to leave the Horde. Scorpia bends over backwards to be a good friend to Catra. They both offer Catra a way out, and she says no. No amount of pleading or niceties can make Catra change. She has to make that choice to face herself and her actions and work to be better. And here's my favorite thing, the fact that when faced with her refusal to change, Scorpia leaves Catra, and that's shown to be the right choice. Scorpia promised to be there for Catra and never leave her, and she's still allowed to go back on that promise and have that be portrayed as a good thing. I know by the time I was 8, I already had manipulative friends. I didn't want to leave them though because I'm a nice girl and I'm their only friend. She-Ra says, too fucking bad. If they're a bad friend, you don't have to deal with their bullshit. You deserve better. Go look for other people who don't treat you like trash. That's a lesson that's relevant to young children as well as adults. Now, I don't think She-Ra always hits this abuse narrative out of the park. Here's where we get into the dangerous territory of children's show logic applied to complex real-world problems. The show marries these two themes by positioning friendship as the solution to abuse, and that works most of the time. Many people suffer a pattern of abuse throughout their lives. They're taught that love and friendship looks like abuse, to the point that a person may even seek out abusive relationships because other healthy relationships feel fake. It's not a real relationship unless you have to earn their love, right? It's a vital part of an abused person's recovery to break free of that cycle and trust the friendship of people who really respect and care for them. That's a good message that to escape abuse, you need to find new, healthy people to hang out with. Forget the promises you made. Sometimes you gotta cut people off to save yourself. Make good friends who respect you.
But wait!
The waters get muddied when your abusive characters are also your abused characters. Hordak, cast aside by Horde Prime, lives to gain his approval. So the lesson for him would be to heal through friendship rather than lash out at someone else, but he's also a dictator? Once Entrapta enters Hordak's life, he's portrayed more like a victim and so much less of a threat, when really, and you may have forgotten this amidst all the cute Entrapta scenes, he's a mass murderer!
The people of Bright Moon have been really hurt by the Horde.
Everyone here has lost someone in the war.
There have been words about the trend in kid shows to heal dictators and other villains through the power of friendship. It's like, on one hand, yeah, I'm happy to tell kids that they should always aim to settle things peaceably. But on the other hand, Nazis are a thing. And as a Jew, I can tell you, I am not a fan of the whole kill them with kindness method. I'm much more of a, I will not spend my time and energy luring some white guy away from his pack of Nazi scum with the power of friendship when I could put that time and energy towards propping up marginalized communities, gal. My kindness and respect ends where someone's desire to kill me and other marginalized groups begins. So I agree that right now we might not always want to tell kids to solve all their problems with friendship. It's a nice message, but some variety would be nice. And as a kid's show, She-Ra could very well be headed towards the same old conclusion where everybody but Horde Prime gets redeemed through the power of friendship. Like, I'm not only bothered by the fact that I don't think some of these characters deserve to be redeemed. I'm bothered because, you know how I said my favorite thing was how Scorpia was allowed to leave Catra? Well, Catra had that moment of self-realization at the end of the season. She finally understands that what she's always wanted is love and approval, not power. It's very likely this show will try to redeem her over the course of season 5, not only because it's a kid's show, but also because that's the next logical step for Catra's character after that kind of revelation. So, as an abused character, to solve Catra's problems with friendship, as per the story's friendship message, Catra would need to team back up with Adora, Scorpia, or both. This works with kid show logic, where everyone's supposed to end up as friends, but less with real-life logic, whereas an abused person, one of the hardest things to do is to leave an abusive friendship, relationship, whatever, and stay gone. In abusive relationships, there's a little something called the honeymoon phase where the abuser apologizes for their behavior. They make promises about how they've changed and how they'll be better from now on. They treat the abused person with all the love and respect they crave and remind them of all the reasons the abused person first fell for them. And then the behavior starts all over again. It's crucial as an abused person to be able to resist the pull of the honeymoon phase, to hold firm against the barrage of pleas and apologies, to not doubt yourself like, well, maybe I was too harsh on them. Maybe I made a big deal over nothing. To not give them another chance. Because with abusers, there's no way to know whether they've really changed. It can be very dangerous to return to an abuser. Once you're out, at least most of the time, you don't want to take that chance. So with Catra, maybe she could prove to the audience and to Scorpia and Adora that she's committed herself to becoming a better person. But even then, well, abuse dominates the show as a central theme. I would hope that at least one of the abusive characters wouldn't get to reunite with the people they abused or get redeemed through the power of friendship. At the moment, Scorpia left Catra, so there's an abused person who left. Shadow Weaver is kind of treated as a chaotic neutral party. Adora is an abused person who still lives close to her abuser, but only speaks to her as a last resort. Hordak's an abuser who, let's be real here, will most likely be changed by the power of love and become a better person. Say what you want about all of these, but you can't argue that we've got a range of responses to abuse here. I'm worried about She-Ra because, as a kid's show, there will almost certainly be a push to level that spectrum, to redeem Catra, to redeem Shadow Weaver, to redeem Hordak, to make everyone friends. And yes, they'll probably get to kill the evil Horde Prime together. But what's so special about these other characters is the evidence of their humanity. They all have fears and desires. They're angry, and they're scared, and they're lonely. They're cruel and reckless and angry, and sometimes they're sweet and likable. Their motivations all come from a place of hurt, and they have the potential to be better people, and we see that. Abusers aren't cardboard cutouts. I'm sure all of us have endured some kind of friendship or relationship where we were taken advantage of. And the people that hurt us weren't monsters. They were people. That's part of what makes it so hard to leave them, because there are reasons to like them or believe in their capacity to change. To not forgive Horde Prime would be to not forgive some evil, unrelatable cutout. To not forgive Catra would mean something. It would be acknowledging the messy reality that, yeah, you are allowed to leave someone and stay gone. Hell, you're allowed to leave someone and stay gone even if they do become a better person. All the self-improvement in the world won't change how they treated you in the past. Forgiveness doesn't have to be a part of the healing process, and you certainly are under no obligation to reintegrate a former abuser into your life. That's a lesson that I could have stood to learn as a kid. And if She-Ra redeems all its abusers or gives them all their friends back, that won't be the lesson. Everybody has to work together to defeat the big bad? Fine. But I hope that if Catra proves herself to be a better person, Scorpia will still be allowed to say, I can't come back with you, or I still need some time. I hope that Scorpia doesn't say she forgives Catra for the way she treated her. I hope that Shadow Weaver doesn't get treated like a hero or like one of the gang, and that Adora is allowed to not make up with her. I hope not everyone forgives Hordak for the horrible war he put them through.
I came home. There was nothing left of my village but ash.
So as much as I love the friendship conquers all message, I don't want to see that nuance disappear with everyone forgiven or redeemed. I feel like this punch and this goodbye would be undermined that way. Let there be at least some contention somewhere. Again, if the She-Ra team dropped the ball in this one, it won't suddenly make the show bad. But She-Ra's ability to balance its children's show logic with its darker, more complex themes is one of my favorite things about the series, and I really hope they find a way to maintain that balance in the face of a traditional children's show happy ending. I'm just worried. Special thank you, as always, to all my patrons. I love you guys. You're amazing. And, yeah. If you would like to see your name along with all these wonderful people, then you can pledge to me on Patreon, where you can get videos early, see previews. You can even make me read a short, not explicit message like this one from Yeetbeat, who says, "Love yourself." Hell yeah! Alright, see you guys next time. Bye!